Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. In this video we are going to discuss looping in Java. So yeah, bear with me. First of all, why do we need to use looping, right? So looping in any programming language is used to do the repetitive task, right? So that you do not have to write the same code again and again. So I will create a simple example and then I will explain looping in Java. So basically, if you understand looping in one language, then you will be able to understand it with every computer language. So I'm going to open a new Java project and I'm going to name it as, let's say, looping. Okay, next. Finish. No. Okay, now as you can see here, I have an empty class here. Now I'm going to empty project here, empty source code. I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to add a package here. So let's say I'm going to name my package as looping package. Finish. And then under my package I'm going to create a class. What is the name of my class? Let's say I'm going to name the class as CLS looping. Okay, so I'm going to include, can you see this public static void main? So that is where my execution will be started. So I'm going to include that public static void main function. Now if you go inside, you will see that it will bring my loop. Actually it will bring my main function here. So I'm going to write my code here. My execution will be started from here. Let's say our goal is to display a series, this one, 1 3 and then 5 and then up to 9099. Okay, how will you do that? So the goal is to display this series from 1 to 999. How will you do that, right? So for this purpose we are going to use for loop, right? To drive the for loop we need a variable. I'm going to declare integer type variable, and then let me give a little bit explanation on what is for loop, right? What is for loop, and what is our understanding about for loop, right? So if you take a look here, in for loop, right, it is a entry control loop. I'll tell you what is entry control loop. And just to do the repetitive task, it has initialization part and then condition checking part and then increment and decremental part, and the syntax is for and then initialization part, right? And then testing condition and then increment decrement. Now if you take a look, the for loop is starting here, for loop is ending here. If the condition is true, then it will be executing these statements. So from here to here is the body of for loop. So when the body will be executed, once condition will be met. That means if condition is true, only then the body of the for loop, that is whatever statement you have here, it will be executed, right? So it has initialization, right, testing condition and increment and decrement part. And then if you take a look at the flow chart, right, can you see, first of all the value will be initialized, and then with that initialized value it will check a particular condition. If the condition is true, then it will come here, execute the statement and go back, increment and decrement the initial counter, and then again we will check the condition, and then again if the condition is true, then it is going to execute, and then increment decrement the counter, again going to check the condition, and if the condition is checked, the execution will be finished here. So initialization, testing condition, statement execution, increment decrement, and loop termination, these are the things that you need to be aware of. I have provided some theories here, so please read it. So now let's say, for example, I want to display 2 3 4 using for loop, right? So what is my starting point? My starting point is here. Initialization means where I'm going to start. I'm going to start from 2, and then at what condition I'm going to exit out. So I want to print up to 4. So as long as x is less than or equal to 4, this is less than or equal to 4, then I'm going to execute the body of the for loop. And then I have a, can you see, like, what do I want to print? 2 3 4. What is the difference between 3 and 2? 1. If we increment 2 by 1, then we get 3. So that's why we have written x plus plus, or instead of x plus plus you can write something like this, x equal to x plus 1. Right? This is just comment. And then if it is true, it will come here and it will be printing it here. So we have printed 2 3 4, right? So these will be your homeworks for the upcoming class, right? But before I go to the homework, let me do a little bit execution here. Let's say that is the series that I want to display. So what will I do here? For, and then this is the body of for loop, right? And inside here I will have initialization. What is the like, first of all there will be initialization. So initialization I equal to how much? Our starting point is 1, and then what is the increment decrement? So what is the difference between these two? 3 minus 1 2. What is the difference between these two? 5 minus 3 2. So increment decrement is your I equal to I plus 2, because if you add 2 with 1, then you get 3. If you add 2 with 3, then you get 5. And then now come here, condition. What is the condition? We want I to be incremented until we have reached 999. So for that I will say I less than or equal to 999. So if I is less than or equal to 999, then keep incrementing I. So if I is less than or equal to 999, then keep incrementing. So if the condition is true, then I am coming here, I'm going to say system dot out dot println. I'm going to say system dot out dot println to print. If, like, remember that it will come to line number 9 in what condition? If the condition, if this condition is met. So here I'm going to print, okay, I'm going to print the value of I. Okay. Now if we execute it, right, you will see that it will be printing. It will be printing from 1, and then it will be basically it will be printing all of the odd numbers. Right? So if you take a look at the output, right, can you see 1 3 5 7, it is printing. Now what, let's say instead of odd numbers, if you want to print the even numbers, let's say 2 4 6, and then you want to go, let's say 1101. So what will you do? Your starting point is 2, your ending point is 1101, and then your increment again is I equal to I plus 2. Now if you execute it, right, can you see it didn't print 1101 because 1101 is not a even number, right? Can you see 246? It was able to print it. Okay, now if I ask you, okay, do me a favor, instead of doing it in that way, do it in that way. Let's say you are starting from 2000 and your next value is 1975 and the next value is 1950. So go up to, let's say, 100. So what you do, your starting point is 2000, right? And then what is your increment decrement? Here we have a decrement. Every time we are decrementing I by 25. What is my condition? I want to reach up to 100. So the loop will be executed if I is greater than or equal to 100. If it is less than 100, no, it will not be executed anymore. So if the condition is if I is greater than or equal to 100, then we will keep the loop executed. Now if you execute it, you will see that it will be executing accordingly. Can you see it has reached up to 100, and then our starting point is 1975 in that way. You got it, right? So now let's do one other thing. So let's say if I ask you to print out of this series, right? If I ask you to print all the numbers that can be divided by 3 and 5. So my question to you, in this series, right? In this series, like here we are printing all of the numbers, but I'm putting another condition here. Print all the numbers those can be divided by 3 or 7. Let's say 3 or 7, right? From this series, from the series from this series. Now what is that series, right? So we want to print all the numbers that can be divided by 3 and 7 from this series. So how will you do that? Now what you will have to do, remember one example here. How do you decide if a number can be divided by 3, right? So let's say if you divide 9 by 3, right, then what is the result? 3 times 3 equal to 9. Your remainder is 0. We got it? So what will happen if you divide 11 by 3? Then you have 3 times 3, 9, and then you have a remainder here 2 that cannot be divided by 3. It will be fractional. So there is an operator in Java. If you write something like this, 11 modulus operator 3, the result will be 2. If you write 11 divided by, if you write 11 if you write 11 divided by, actually if you write let me make it straightforward. So if you write 9, if you write 9 divided by 3, your result is 3, remainder is 0. So to calculate the remainder, this is the operator, we call it modulo operator. Okay, so you saw that if we use modulo operator, it will return the remainder, right? Now, so we have to find all of the numbers those can be divided by 3 or 7. How do you decide if a number can be divided by 3 or 7? If you say inside this for loop, if and then body of the for loop is this, right? If the condition is true, then print I. Now what is that condition? If I modulus 3, right, equal to 0. If this modulus, right, if the result of this portion is 0, then it will be 0 equal to 0. When this portion will be 0, if let's say if the value of I is 9, then 9 modulus 3, that means if you divide 9 by 3, then remainder is 0. Remainder 0 means it is can be fully divided by 3. Then we have to print it, right? So now if you execute it, you will see it will be displaying only those numbers which can be divided by 3, right? You will see that, let me see if there is any number that we got. Yeah, we got a lot of numbers that can be divided by 3. This 1950 can be divided by 3, and if you keep going down, you will see there are a lot of other numbers. 150 can be divided by 3. Now our condition is not only 3 or 7. If a number can be divided by 3 or 7, then show that number. So how will you do that, right? So you can 3 or 7, right? So what you can do it in that way. You can write another condition in this way. You can copy this condition and write another condition here. If I modulus 7 is 0, display. Now you will see it will be displaying not only the numbers those can be divided by 3, but also the numbers those can be divided by 7. So if you take a look here, right, now it is dividing all the numbers those can be divided by 3 and 7. So if you see these numbers, they are either divided by 3 or 7. Okay, now let's say if I want to make it straightforward, a little bit straightforward, right? Let's say not from 2000, I want to do 100 to 10, right? Now you will understand more on it. Let's say if you do it, right, you will see that if you look at the result here, right, 100, and then this will be 75, this will be 50, and then let's say you want to go up to 1. Now if you take a look here, if you execute it, so what is your starting point? 100, right? And then you want to go up to 1. So keep reducing it until you have reached 1. Now if I execute it, right, Now do I have any number that can be divided by 3 and 7? Yeah, this 3 times, if you divide this one by 3, it is 25. If you divide this one by 7, let me see. Okay, so you cannot divide it by 7, but you can divide it by 3, right? So that's why, because we have, if it can be divided by 3, it will be displayed. If it can be divided by 7, it will be displayed. Now if you go, instead of 100, if you go 200, right, from 200, then let's see what happens. Now we have a little bit more numbers, right? Can you see 175 can be divided by 3, 175 can be divided by 7, by both numbers, right? Now this 75 can be divided by 3 but not by 7. Okay, now let's say that you can make it a little bit simpler. You can copy this condition from here, and then you can come here, and then OR operator, right? This is OR operator in Java, double pipe. Now, so this is where you are checking the divisibility by 3, got it? And this is where you are checking divisibility by 7. Now you remove it. Okay, now if you execute it, it will do the same thing. It will be displaying the number if it can be divided by 3 or what? 3 or 7. Now let's say that if you take a look at this result, right, this 175 can be divided by 3 and 7 both. This one, what about this one? This one can be divided by only 3, not by 7. This one can be divided by only 3, not by 7. Now if you want to divide, if you want to display only those numbers which can be divided by 3 and 7, that means if you are going to display, a number that can be divided by both 3 and 7. How will you do that? So instead of OR, you are going to put here and. Double ampersand is the AND operator. Now it should display only this 75, right? If I execute it, you will see it will be displaying only 75. Actually, is there any number here that can be divided by both 3 and 7? Let me see. Was it able to display any number? No. If you put OR, right? If you put OR, let me do an OR, and then if you execute it, let's say this number, let me see if it is really, if it can be divided by 7. So if you take this number, go to your calculator, right? Where is my calculator? And put it here, divided by 7. It goes, you can divide it by 7. Let me see if I can divide it by 3. No. So that means in this list, none of the number I can divide, fully divide it by 3 and 7 both. So I can divide some of the numbers by 3 and some of the numbers, actually all of these numbers, some of the numbers by 3 and some of them, let's say this one I can divide it by 7, this one I can divide it by 3, this one I can divide it by 3, but none of the number I have here in this list that I can divide, fully divide by both 3 and 7. Now what will happen if you do it 300 up to 300, right? Now if you do it, you will see that you will get a little bit more number, right? 5 numbers. Now if you put instead of OR, if you put AND, that means you will be displaying numbers if it can be divided by both 3 and 7. So now if you execute it, right, let me see if I have anything in this list. No, still I do not have any number that can be divided by both 3 and 7. Now I have this, I have increased the range, and still none of the number I have here that can be divided by both 3 and 7. I'm going to make it, let's say, 1000. Now if you execute it, right, you will see probably I'll get a number. Yeah, can you see this number? This number can be divided by both 3 and 7. How? If you put it here divided by 3, we have a result, right? It is fully divisible. And if we divide it by 7, fully divisible, right? So that is how for loop works. Now for loop and while loop, I have provided more description in the document that I am going to send you. Both are entry control loop, because it will not go inside the loop if the condition is not true. If the condition is false, it will not go inside the loop. So if you understand for loop a little bit more, right, how it works, I have a video here. If you go to my website, right, let's say let me bring my website. Basically I have a video. Actually, let me provide you this link of this video where you will get a little bit more information about for loop. Okay. If you go to my website qaportions.org, qaportions.org, and then right, if you come to UFT tutorials, right, if you come to UFT tutorials, you will see that I have a video that I prepared only explaining for loop. Let me play it. Now if you take a look here in this video, right, I have explained this for loop in details here. Let me see if I have it somewhere else as well. So I'll encourage you watch this video. Okay, so I have explained this for loop in this video in details. Okay, so I'm going to send you the link of this video. Actually, is it good? Yeah, so let me send you this video. Okay, and it will give you more explanation on for and why. Okay, I'm putting this link here video. So if you look at this document, you will see that I have, in the beginning part of this document, I have described while loop, details about while loop, and probably it will give you idea of how you can use while loop as well. And then I have some homework for you. Please complete this homework and send it to me. Alright, thank you again for watching. Hopefully you will have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.